Hello, YouTube. I wanted to talk about some of the things that have helped me cope. Um, I struggle a lot with mental illness. Like before I got diagnosed with autism, I had a lot of struggles with depression and anxiety, OCD, trauma, and it's kind of interesting for me because the first time I became actively suicidal was in the fall or early winter of 2014. So it's been 10 years now. And as a 20-year-old, that's exactly half my life. So it's really interesting, like coping now, because 10 years after being 10 years old, things are so much better. And that's a lot and due to the coping mechanisms that I have acquired over time. So I just thought that I would like to share them, um, not only because I think that it would help the 5 people who click on this video, but because it would also help me remember for the future what will help me. And this would also be a way for me to look back in the future for when I inevitably forget about what it's like being 20 years old. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was I recently downloaded this app, Finch. This isn't sponsored or anything, but yeah, that app has been helpful in the past few days, and I hope I can like continue working with that because maybe setting goals for myself will make things easier in the long run because I do like making points for myself. And even if that app doesn't end up working out for me, I would like to maybe see how a reward system for myself could work out in the future. Another thing that's been really helpful for me is recently I adopted a kitten. And, I've wanted a cat since I knew what a cat was, basically. As a kid, my dad was allergic. And as a college student, you can't really have cats in a dorm. But I finally got a lease, an apartment to myself where I can have a cat. And it's been basically one of the best things to ever happen to me. So I guess this is a moment where I want to say, like, if you're young and disabled in any way and you just really want a pet that you can't have, one day I think that you might be able to get it if you just like hold on. And I know that holding on is rough, but it's really, really worth it because my cat is really, really worth it. And she loves me, and your pet will love you. Another thing that's really helped me both before and after getting diagnosed is going on walks because, like, this really started for me during COVID when I was in high school and taking online classes. During our recess, I would just like go on 15-minute walks to the store to buy Monster Energy. And eventually, after classes stopped, because it was an IB class and we stopped having classes in May. Wait, no, we stopped having classes in March. So from March to like July, there was like nothing. So in that time, I would like just go on walks to help me cope. I think going walks helps me a lot because I don't really have to think, I can just move. And when I go on walks, I find myself thinking and I get really deep in thought. But by the time I'm done or I snap out of it, I don't know what I was thinking about. And sometimes it's a little worrying, but I kind of like it that I don't really have to care about what I'm thinking about. Another thing that's helped me recently is I've been getting more comfortable with STEM toys after getting diagnosed. So, like, I have some slime that I play with every now and then. I also have borax and glue, and I've been trying to learn how to make slime on my own, but I'm just not really good at it. I can't really figure out the proportions. But I'm really trying to be more comfortable with like engaging my sensory needs. I have this blanket that I've had since I was basically a toddler, and it's like the definition of a baby blanket. Like, it's not even mine. Like, it has my siblings' birth information, like their birth name and their birth date and birth weight, like embroidered into it. But it came into my possession as a little kid because I've just loved the texture so much, and as an adult, like, it's kind of cringe to have a baby blanket still, but it's just a texture that I really like, and that really helps me because at the end of the day, I can just go home to the blankie and just, like, snuggle it, and it's really useful and helpful, and that's okay. Um, Another thing that I found really useful since getting diagnosed is, like, allowing myself to stim openly, because I think that before I was diagnosed, I was, like, very much aware that I was different and weird and needed to, like, move, but I wouldn't allow myself to because I'm not diagnosed with anything. I can't be weird in public. Like, that's just a weird person thing to do. But after getting diagnosed, I sort of, like, started to accept myself for that, like, it's okay to be weird and, like, it's okay to be visibly neurodivergent in public, and I need to, like, stop being critical of myself, and I also need to start being aware of others in public, and I need to, like, be kinder and more compassionate to others and to myself, and that's something I really need to work on, like, just stop being judgmental in general. I think I've, like, grown up with the idea of how society and things are supposed to be, and if anything is outside of how it's supposed to be, which is, like, a neurotypical, like, kind of white-based, honestly, and I need to work on that. But just, like, anything outside of what's supposed to be, it, like, makes me uncomfortable, and I really need to work on that because not only am I outside of that normal, there are millions of other people as well, and I need to, like, start being aware of that and learning that more, and yeah. I think that, like, allowing myself to openly be neurodivergent in public helps me be less judgmental of others as well, and I really do feel bad that I'm judgmental of others, but at the same time, I know it's, like, not always something I can control because I want everything to be normal, and when things are not normal, it's like I get confused and uncomfortable, but I'm definitely trying to start to, like, teach myself how to be okay with people who are different, which includes myself. A couple other things I wanted to include was like, I really like playing Pokemon games, like, even though that's something that I associate with kids because that's something I played as a kid. Like, I think it's important to be able to participate in your own interests and the things that you like. I've also just like kind of like, I enjoy looking at apps in general. I go back to Webkins every now and then, which is something I played as a little kid. And like, even though you have to like pay for the real fun version, you can still use Webkins Classic, and you don't even have to buy a pet anymore. You can just use a virtual one. So, but like, you can also pay to make it like even more fun, which I did for a while when I was with my ex, and I really did enjoy it. But money's money. We don't always make money, and yeah. The last thing I wanted to share is just like food. It's been very hard for me to like eat consistently and eat healthily, but I find that finding a food that I really like and having a certain amount every day really helps me. I've been really into pretzels lately, and now it's kind of sad because the university store is out of the pretzels, at least for a little bit, and it just sucks because like I like to have a bag of those every day. So without a bag of those every day, now I'm like really uncomfortable. And yeah, food is difficult and it's something I do need to work on. Hopefully that's something I'll get better with in the future.